Hello, beautiful beings. Thank you for joining me. We are going to talk about a big one today, especially if you want to look at ways to improve your metabolism. We talk about it all the time. We just don't know what that really means and what we need to do to fix it. So, I've got a good one for you today because there's a lot of people who kind of skirt around the issue of thyroid. I often hear from people, I always thought I had a thyroid issue, but my tests never show anything. I have all the symptoms of a thyroid problem or an imbalance, but nothing ever comes up and the doctor doesn't seem to be concerned. And so it doesn't mean that you necessarily don't have a thyroid issue. Sometimes it just doesn't fall within the parameters of a test. Also, different labs and different tests are quite different and have different sensitivities. But also, I want to share this idea with you. What if we just had an insufficiency in our thyroid? So it's not like we have a problem that's so extreme we need to go on thyroid medications or that it's something that might be detected on a test. But what if with time and age, we've just had a thyroid that's become a little less effective and is really causing a big part of our metabolism? Wouldn't it be worth looking at to see what we could do to make it better? I encourage you to do this because it really doesn't matter who you are. The symptoms of thyroid can affect us all just a little bit or just enough to cause us grief with the health or the weight loss or the energy that we're trying to achieve. So, join me now. Let's get started. We're going to boost up our thyroid, feel a lot better, and start to realize that there's so much we can do to help ourselves. Okay, so I was talking about metabolism, and it is a very big role of the thyroid. So it's definitely something we want to look at. There's a lot of symptoms that can be thyroid related as well as related to other things. So it's always kind of difficult to really say, oh, this is definitely your thyroid. But a few of them are if you have a little bit of trouble with temperature regulation or sensitivity to cold, or you feel cold a lot, those can be some of the common things that are happening, especially when we struggle with weight, whether it's balancing our weight or having weight fall off. Very common symptom of thyroid. And it really doesn't matter in a lot of these conditions whether you're talking about hyperthyroid or hypothyroid. There's an imbalance here, and a lot of it can have to do with our nutrient deficiencies. So that's really what we're going to look at today to more or less help our thyroid do what it normally needs to do. So, quite commonly, this can really start from an issue with digestion. So, your gut health is really important here. You can look at this from quite a few different angles, but really the key idea being that if you've got gut issues, then you also most likely have challenges absorbing nutrients that are the main ones that your thyroid needs to do all the synthesis, to do the hormone production, to do the conversion from like T4 to T3, the inactive form to the active form, so that what you need your thyroid to do is actually happening. And one of the issues with the testing is when you're testing your TSH is it can show a normal range, but it just doesn't mean that all of the steps that have to happen in your thyroid are happening. So that's why another reason why some of our testing can throw us off. But regardless, we want to boost this, right? We want our metabolism to be as effective as it can be. And if we feel that we're having any of these symptoms, then we know that there's deficiencies in either our organs or what's in our system, and especially in our nutrients that we need to be dealing with and living our best life void of these symptoms. So, if you're having trouble with sleeping, hair health, a lot of people turn to collagen very quickly when they're looking for healthy hair or nails. And really, you probably want to look even deeper than that because there could be a deficiency that's happening here that's causing us to be deficient in collagen. And one of it can be a lot of what goes on in our thyroid. And so we can dig deeper on that one. And then maybe you don't even need to revert to the thyroid as much as you do. Also, menstrual cycle, anxiety, a lot of cognition, fatigue, energy. So the list goes on. Basically, you're looking at your general sense of not feeling your best is going on, and it can become clearly more heightened. And even if it is you have an identified thyroid issue and maybe you're on medications, you still want to look to this because you want to boost those nutrients in your body that will help it be more effective. Because in many cases, it's never really sure the amount of thyroid medication you want to be going on or which ones, is the trouble with the T4? Is it the conversion? Are you lacking T3? If you take T4, can it help you just convert to T3, or do you actually have to take the T3 because it's not converting? It goes on and on. And the reason I share this with you is this: because when I was very sick, one of the things that happened was a huge thyroid imbalance that we really couldn't get corrected. And a lot of people also report to me sometimes that thyroid medication helps for a little bit, or it helps just a little bit, but then doesn't continue to improve. And so you can see weird things happening in your body. I was quite excited when I first went on because I thought, oh, this is going to fix a lot of problems. And I will say there was an initial improvement, but then it felt like it plateaued. And so then I was having to go on more, and then I had to get different forms, and it just kind of spiraled. And really, I was finding that I wasn't seeing improvements in a lot of my symptoms. Although I was on it for a really long time, I did, and I don't recommend this. I went off it, which many medical professionals will tell you that you can really throw off your imbalances when you do that. But I was adamant that I had to start to help myself naturally. And so I don't recommend what I did. But you just may find, your doctor may find with your testing results, that if you do some of these things to help boost your system, maybe you won't need as much, or you'll be able to change the form. Or so regardless, you really want to be helping your system improve what it does naturally as much as possible. And then even then you may find your medication is more effective. So we want to look at the nutrient deficiencies. And the key one, well, everybody talks about iodine. And I will say that there has to be a lot of caution around that one because it can make certain forms worse. It's really hard to decide how much you need, and it's really hard to decide what form and how you want to be taking it. And so I don't really feel that that's something we have to jump to first. There's certain things we can do to naturally get iodine, but there's also a lot of things we can be doing to boost our body's ability to utilize the iodine when it gets it in our system. So I think that's a much better approach. Um, and so then the next nutrient that we want to look at is selenium, because it's the one that really helps with that conversion. It helps with us utilizing the iodine in our system. And selenium is one we just really don't talk about very much. So we're not even sure if we're getting it, if it's in our system. And so I'm going to share with you a really simple way to go about this, but I want to kind of explain all of the nutrients first. So selenium is kind of our key piece that we want to look at in all of this. But then there's also a few other factors like zinc, and that really helps with the regulation of the hormone production in the thyroid. So it's kind of an important one. And if you've ever taken zinc supplements, you know that they can make you quite ill. You need to take them on a full stomach. Sometimes it has to be a really slow progression. It's a challenging one to build. Iron deficiencies is something we will see in a lot of people with a lot of these symptoms. And then your regular vitamins, especially vitamin A. Again, maybe not something you want to take in supplement form. So we're going to talk about all the nutrients that you can get from foods to help you with this. And so that's really helping with the synthesis of your thyroid hormones. And so it's going to be an important one, but it's really effective one to try and get from nutrients first. And then you kind of have all your typicals like your E's and your D's, and especially your B's. And we can get a lot of those from food. A lot of people are on kind of a B complex, and that may be well recommended to especially help with sort of the signaling in your body, the energy. So you can look to B complex if that's what's working for you. But I will also give you some nutrient suggestions here. And so we'll talk about the foods, but first we also want to talk about what we don't want to put in our system because there's something going on that's affecting our thyroid that's making it less effective, less efficient, and not functioning as well as we want. And unfortunately, one of the key pieces that affects our system are kind of all the chemicals and artificial products in our food, as well as heavy metals. And it makes a lot of sense when we look into these what's going on because we know that thyroid can be like Hashimoto's and Graves can be sort of autoimmune related, thyroid related illnesses. And what can be happening here is that your thyroid can be absorbing stuff like chemicals and heavy metals that your body identifies as foreign objects. And as would be expected, your immune system, that's its job, right? It's going to attack those areas because it wants to protect you from those products. But then you can sort of get in a situation where you almost have the overactive immune system that continues to attack these areas. And it's imagine your thyroid always trying to function and do what it does while it's being attacked at the same time. And then you can even have a system where the immune system no longer recognizes it as foreign and just lets it keep happening because it's been for so long. So a lot can be going on here. And that's why we don't really know, is it overactive thyroid? Is it underactive thyroid? Is it the immune system attacking it? Is the immune system no longer recognizing it? It can be so multifaceted that we really just want to look at boosting our thyroid so it starts to do what it would do naturally as well as it can be doing that. And so some of the areas you're going to look obviously is chemicals, so your cleaners. And I will be doing more and showing you more natural versions of cleaners. I caution you to not head out and buy all natural cleaners because even some of those can be deceiving. Just remember, there's no regulation on the word natural, so that doesn't necessarily mean you're getting what you want. But there can be some really good cleaners that are just simple products, at home products that you can put together to improve that because think of those chemicals that you're things that are breathing in. It's in the general area of your thyroid. It really has that ability to impact it quite quickly. And then you want to look at the artificial foods because a lot of processed foods have artificial chemicals that could be impacting it. What happens is a lot of these chemicals and artificial products impact our whole endocrine system, and our thyroid is part of that system. So you really want to look, they call it um, endocrine disruptor chemicals. And the studies have proven that they impact your thyroid. So you want to look at trying to limit those as much as possible. And unfortunately, some of the unnatural fragrances that we have in our products can be those as well. But one of the main ones, unfortunately, is fluoride. And you can look into a lot of studies on fluoride, stuff like also Teflon. They've been known to be big endocrine disruptors. And so they can easily be impacting your thyroid functioning. So you want to look for ways to decrease those. And I will also give you a good fluoride replacement, which actually is a brilliant teeth whitener. So why wouldn't you want to try it? Even decreasing a certain amount can be really beneficial. So let's talk to nutrients. How can we get these nutrients in our diet? Well, there's some common ones, and the ones I'm going to share with you today actually help with a lot of the nutrient deficiencies, even selenium. So these are good ones that if you could actually look to get sort of one of these consistently in your diet every day, that's really going to help. And so for some of the natural selenium, you're going to look, I'm going to leave my favorite one to last, but you're going to look to seaweeds. And that doesn't really sound like something you want to be eating consistently, but the common hack that you can do here is dulse in a protein shake. Highly recommended. Also a great source of protein. So it helps. It typically comes in a little bag. You can buy it kind of already broken up. It just pop a little bit in and it's pretty easy to do. But really high quality fishes as well as eggs have a lot of these, and dairy. Now, dairy can work for and against us on this because dairy can sort of be hard on our immune system. So, what I encourage you to do if you're looking for one of these days to be more dairy focused to help with these, to get a really high quality cheese or yogurt product that doesn't have any added ingredients that will help give you those actual nutrients without any other factors in there that are maybe working against you absorbing these. You really want to also look to your gut health here because that's where you're going to be absorbing the multitude of these nutrients. And so you could be requiring a prebiotic and probiotic. Simply, the prebiotic can come with um, fibrous vegetables that you even put like a really high quality oil and something like a vinegar, an apple cider vinegar, salt, pepper, those, and a citrus in it, and that'll help break them up. And then when you're eating it, you're going to get all the prebiotics you need from there as well as probiotics. Yes, you can look to fermented food. I know some people go to a really high quality probiotic supplement. But you want your gut to be functioning as well as possible. And that's why some people with thyroid will see digestive issues as well as constipation and or diarrhea on either end. And so you want that to be functioning well because then when you're eating the nutrients that you want to get to help your thyroid, they're actually being absorbed in your gut how you would want them to be. And so, a good way you can also go here, and if you look to some of my videos on hydration, that's going to tell you a lot about trace minerals. And what's nice is a lot of these trace minerals are the ones we're looking at, like the zincs and the vitamins and selenium, and so they're not going to be there in high quantities, but if you're taking a trace mineral with your water every day, then you're kind of getting a consistent amount and it's going to help your body know that you're going to be giving it the nutrients it needs every day and start to be able to use them and not feel that it has to store them and actually feel that it's going to be consistent enough that it can use them and then start to just become more available and as well be able to efficiently use them. So I highly recommend adding a trace mineral to your diet. You can also get similar minerals to these trace minerals from a Celtic or high quality Himalayan salt. They have the selenium and the zincs and even the coppers, which helps us absorb iron. All those kind of things can be really beneficial here, and the trace minerals or the Celtic salts can help your body absorb them, and it's really easy to take every day. But the real one, the one with the pack that I'm really looking for here is actually Brazil nuts. Huge content of selenium and a lot of these vitamins and minerals. Now, people will argue that every Brazil nut's different and every Brazil tree is different, and that's absolutely true, as well as the soil that the tree grows in. So, you want to be looking to a good, high quality Brazil nut. There's no doubt about that. Um, but you can actually take 1 to 2 a day and treat it like your vitamin. It's going to be a lot cheaper than your vitamins. And then the nice thing about my minerals and vitamins when you get them from food is that your body takes in what it needs and is really easily able to expel what it doesn't, and you actually know that it's the truest form of that vitamin. You never really know what's being added to some supplements, and it's hard to be sure that you're getting high quality without other additives or even low quality supplements. So, I highly recommend looking at some of these options and just adding these little simple ways to get the nutrients in your diet every day because over time, this is what boosts your metabolism. This is what's going to help your thyroid be able to deal with any products that are in it that may be challenging it, and then maybe your immune system not reacting to it as much. And you should slowly, as with any natural solution, you're going to see the symptoms disappear and dissipate very slowly, but that's the way you want them to be happening. You know that you're not throwing your body off balance, and you know that it's slowly adjusting. But the real beauty in all of this is that you can be sure that you're boosting your thyroid's ability so it can do what it does naturally all on its own. So it's not that you're making a simple quick fix, you're actually fixing what your body needs to have fixed for the long term, and you're not having to consistently do things to enhance it or build it. That is what natural healing is really all about. So I'm going to leave you with all that thyroid thought. And I really hope that you can make sure to implement some of these in your diet, improve your gut health so that it absorbs them, and you start to feel the good feeling you get when your thyroid health improves. And always remember, you're a beautiful being just as you are. And when you embrace your true beauty and prioritize your wellness and self care, you shine even brighter. And this, my friends, is what illuminates your path to your fullest potential. Take care.